What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Babbles Nonsense podcast. I'm beyond excited for you all to hear today's interview with Maria Brito. You may know her as Awaken with Maria on Instagram. She is a life coach, a yoga instructor. She does breath work, sound baths, all the things. But on today's interview, you're going to get to hear her personal experience. You're going to hear about her retreats that she does, where she takes women on this healing journey in places like Mexico, Barcelona, Spain, Puerto Rico, Maine, her upcoming vision board workshop that she is doing here in Huntsville, her life coaching, and all the modalities utilized in all of these experiences. We talk about so much, and she is just a ball of energy, and just the energy that she exudes in this interview is just beyond exciting. So I hope you all love this interview as much as I enjoyed interviewing her. Here we go, guys. Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Babbles Nonsense podcast. I'm super excited to have Maria here, Awaken with Maria, that you may know on Instagram. Welcome to the Babbles Nonsense show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, like anything that's like therapy driven, mental health, whatever it is, that just number one, I'm so fascinated by it. Like I know we were talking before we started, I have you on all the time, who's a life coach in Nashville, and like just her thought process alone interests me. So like just sitting down and being able to talk to anyone like that just interests me. But you are a life coach,
yes,
yoga instructor, breath work. And then I know you said you're not a midwife.
I'm not.
But on your website, it says midwifery.
Yeah.
But we're going to jump into that on what that means. But you also do retreats. You just do so many things. So I want to know, like, your background, first of all. Like, how did you get started in all of this? I'm always intrigued by someone, like, was this your life calling? Were you like, when you were 6 years old, were you like, this is what I want to do? Or did you have like a whole life before this?
I always say the chaos of my life is what got me into this.
Okay.
I had just had my daughter, my youngest, who's now 28, in England. My husband was military. And
she still lives in England?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait.
That was 28 years ago.
In England. Okay.
In England. And I had no family, and I fell into a very deep depression. I had postpartum, and the only thing that they had for me was, hey, here's some Prozac, here's some Xanax, and, basically good luck, Yeah. And that was for me really eye-opening, that I wasn't given tools to live life, to cope with the anxiety, because I was having panic attacks. I was trying to take care of two little girls, and military wife. Husband was gone, deployed, and all I had was this, right? And I got really upset.
Rightly.
And
that's where I feel like, because, I am a nurse practitioner and I do work in Western medicine, but it does fail us a lot because there are other things that they don't tell us that we can do.
Yes.
Because Big Pharma then would lose a lot of money.
Yep, absolutely.
But also, bravo to you for recognizing that something was wrong 20 years ago with postpartum, because that wasn't talked about either.
Exactly. So we've come a long way. A long way.
But like 20 years ago, bravo to you for even recognizing something was wrong.
Yeah. And so I started diving into books. I went the holistic route. I did all the things. I hired all the coaches. I went to the retreats. And that's why I say the chaos of my life got me into this, because I fell in love with what I was learning and how I was able to pretty much heal myself, through this process. And it's one of those things, like when I decided to get yoga certified, after practicing yoga for so many years, I was like, no, I think I want to do this. I want to go deeper. I want to dive deeper. I'm a seeker of life. And I started taking the classes to teach us that I can't keep this to myself. I can't keep this goodness to myself. It would be selfish not to share it. And that's exactly how I felt. I was like, I have to share this goodness because I saw, it's almost like when you start to work on something, you know, the universe starts to present you people that need that too.
That's interesting that you say that, because like my life passion is to help women with their thyroid and hormones. Maybe not so much hormones because I suck at it, but thyroid in general, just because it's so misunderstood and misdiagnosed in what I do. Yeah. And my personal journey took me there because I was misdiagnosed and I think I went to 10 doctors before anyone would listen. So now I'm like, why do people not listen when people are speaking, like, especially in medicine, therapy, medicine, behavioral health, whatever it is, there's a lot of people that don't listen. And I do blame part of that on insurance companies and things like that, because it's like, get them in, get them out, 15 minutes. But I do commend you for like being able to share your journey and share what you love with other people as well.
Yeah. And then that's really pretty much how I got to where I am today.
How long have you been doing it?
I have been doing this for 12 years.
12 years?
Yeah. I mean, I worked on myself. I was like I always say I was my first client for many years. And then I was like, you know what? This is the moment. I'm going to go for it. And I did. And it was scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so glad I did.
Did you leave like a corporate job or anything like that to do this?
I was working corporate. And I was doing the wellness on the side. And it took many years of that until I decided, you know what, I'm going to go for it, like fully do this 100%. And it wasn't until after COVID.
Oh, really?
That I actually, I was working for the government at that time. And I resigned. And
wow.
People thought I was crazy. But yeah, I did it.
Big leap of faith.
Yeah.
And it's taken off though. It's literally been the best probably decision you made.
It was, you know, it's like one of those things like, I wish I had done it earlier. Like, what is the fear, you know, that's holding me back, you know, and yeah, I wish I had done it earlier, but.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because I have interviewed a lot of women entrepreneurs and a lot of them have said the same thing, which even like when I follow like certain influencers that have like a gift where they were like, there's this one particular that I follow in Nashville, and she's always like, quit your job and make soap. Like, I'm serious. Like, if that's your passion, do it. Because like whatever you're passionate about, usually you will make happen. Yes. Is what I've found out. Yes. Which I recently, over the past couple of years, I left like a W-2 position. I'm not technically quote unquote self-employed, but I am 1099 contract and I do kind of work for myself. And that was a big scary decision, leaving like a W-2 position. I can't say 100% like leaving and doing like opening a whole business like y'all have done, but I kind of can relate and understand, because it is scary, because you're just like, what if this fails? What if my contract ends? What do I do then? Like, yeah, you know,
and it's all on you,
right?
You know, once you make that decision, it's you gotta make it happen.
I know it is. Now, you said you work for the government, so like, do you have like a certain degree or something like your background that you were doing prior?
Yeah, project management, budget analyst. Yeah.
Okay, so this is complete. Like, you have
like spreadsheets.
I was like, you have two separate lives.
No, it's like the analytical mind and the creative mind.
But hey, it works together.
But I balanced it out for so many years. I really did.
Well, it probably helps you in your business.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yes, it absolutely has. Like, people are like, I don't know how you make all this, the retreats happen and the agendas and I'm like, hey, it's everything I learned in my past life.
I love that though.
Yeah.
And speaking of, like, not to keep going back to Mimi or whatnot, but like, she had a marketing background before she full-time went into life coaching. And so like
and now I have a marketing background too.
So I was like, it completely helped her. Because she was like, I know how to market myself. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. But I also looked up something very interesting about your training, is that you were trained by shamans. Yes. So I want to know about that, because like, I listened to Jay Shetty and stuff like that, and like listening to his experience and reading his books and how he did the same thing. Yeah. That's very fascinating. Yeah. So tell me about your training with shamans.
I started years ago going to retreats and getting involved in a lot of women's work. That was really, really intriguing to me. How this whole world of womanhood was there, and I really didn't know about it, and I was like, wow, this is so interesting. And so I went to different places and met all these amazing medicine women, medicine men, and just started to take all this information, like it's amazing what's out there, and plant medicine and all, what is given to us by Pachamama, the earth, and how we can, it's there to nourish us, literally nourish us and heal us. And we take it for granted.
We do. And since you brought up plant medicine, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to mention it.
Yeah.
I did a mushroom ceremony with a girl from LA. I was not trying to get high or anything like that, but I was like dealing with a lot of trauma in my life where it was like family trauma and stuff like that. And she was like, hey, like this will take you there. So I did like this mushroom ceremony or whatever. She came in, she gave me the mushrooms. I didn't realize this was going to be like a 6-hour thing. I thought it literally only lasted an hour in my brain. Yeah. But like the things that it unlocked in my brain, I remembered.
Yeah. You are in full control.
Wow. Like this is where my abandonment issues come from. Like I got on the phone with my mom when I was done. And I was like, I can't believe you left me with a babysitter. Like, and she was like, yeah, that happened. I was like, I forgot. Like I suppressed it. I couldn't remember. And then it just made me understand more like why I have the abandonment issues that I have like in my adulthood. Yeah. So,
and all that from mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Right? Like
I was just like, what? Like is that I was questioning myself after. I was like, was that real? Like did that? And when my mom confirmed that everything that I remembered, which I did watch the documentary, I cannot think of the name of it now, on Netflix before I did it because I was terrified because I was just terrified. I was like, I'm not trying to like trip. I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole. But when you say plant medicine is that kind of what you're like referring to? Yeah. Which on that documentary, it literally said that they were studying this, I want to say at Johns Hopkins hospital, where they were like supervising people. They would give them the mushrooms or whatnot. And apparently it was curing OCD. Yes. Depression. Yes. Like we're saying curing, not just suppressing, but then they put a stop to it because they couldn't patent it because it's from the earth.
Yeah. Doesn't that blow your mind?
I was like, oh, so big pharma can't make money from it. I'm going to get like, who knows who's listening to this.
But it's like breath work is the same. Breath work is something that we have. All of us have it. And in a breath work journey, people have told me, I felt like I was in a mushroom ceremony.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you say a breathwork journey, like what does that entail? Because I can't breathe when I'm working out in general. I'm just
a lot of people have issues with that. Okay, like you're not the only one.
I'm just a highly anxious person. Yeah. So like I try at night to, because that's one thing, like I have trouble sleeping. So there's this one meditation I listen to that's like hold your breath for 6 seconds, and I'm like, I feel like I'm dying.
Yeah. It's a lot of it takes practice.
Okay.
It takes practice. And I always talk about to learn how to cultivate space in your body for breath. It's really eye-opening how much space you have and how long you can hold the breath for and once you start working on it. But breath is the breath of life, and we take it for granted. And a lot of women have said this after a breathwork session. They're like, I feel like I feel high. I feel like I'm
very euphoric,
very light.
Yeah.
I've just let go of so much. Some women say this is like 5 years of therapy in one 1 hour session I just had. Like, I can't believe this. This is unbelievable. How much I've been able to release and what I've been able to tap into.
Right.
That I was not able to tap into talk therapy for years. So, and I'm all about therapy.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. And I'm all about, sometimes we have to take medicine to regulate ourselves. But for me, the most important thing is learning how to cope with life, and teaching women tools like breath work, right? To calm the nervous system, meditation, but also shadow work.
So I was going to ask you, what different modalities do you use when you're doing life coaching or treatment? Like I know you mentioned breath work. You just mentioned shadow work. Yeah. What all modalities? You do sound baths as well, correct?
Yes.
Like, can you list each one and like give an example or how it can help you tap into something?
Yeah. So I don't call it a treatment. They're just modalities that I use. And most of them, when you come to my retreats, you get to experience everything together. But I use breathwork. I use sound bath, of course. Sound vibration is so healing. It also like takes you places. It just like have you ever experienced it?
Oh, so when I did the mushroom ceremony, she played different musics. Like if and of course I was talking to her the entire time. She was like, "What are you singing? What are you doing?" And then like if I told her what I was singing, like she would either play like very like dark kind of music to get me to go there, or she would play like light floaty music to get me to go a different way. So that's the only kind of experience.
So it does affect your feelings and emotions, right?
Which I mean, music does.
Music. That's exactly, that's what it is. It's sound therapy.
Okay.
But also I do shadow work, and shadow work is pretty much getting to the root of the cause of why that, you know, it's like a toddler, but why? Yeah. We got to get really curious as to why you keep experiencing this, why this limiting belief keeps surfacing for you, and how we can stop that from happening. But we have to get to the why first. And the why is the shadow work. So we go in deep. I ask you a lot of questions. And I try to ask questions that everybody can work with in a retreat setting, of course, and in a workshop too. But yeah, it's just really interesting to me what surfaces from these deep questions. And some women say, you know, they meet me finally in person. They're like, "Oh, I've been following you on Instagram and I see your pictures of retreats and it looks so interesting, but I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think I'm ready." Yeah. And I'm like, "Will you ever be ready?"
No.
Like,
no one will ever be ready.
I mean, if you keep waiting, it's going to be like, I wish I had not waited so long, right?
And that's something, because I have worked with like a life coach and a shadow therapy, and I've talked about my journey. Like for me, that was a life-changing experience. Like it's something that I need to continue to do, but then that's something we worry about, like, you know, monetarily wise. But I've even mentioned on this podcast, like even when it came to the money, like I had gotten to the point where I was like, I have to do this. There's no other option. And then the money came back to me.
Oh,
and she talked about that. She was like, money is energy, and like the longer you hold on to it and it's stagnant, you're not going to get any more. Exactly. She's like, but if you put it into the universe, and she's very believing in that. And I did, like, I literally paid her. I was like, you know what? I'll put it on my credit card. And then like this unexpected check came in the mail, and I was just like, this will pay this off. And I was just like, wow. But it is very life-changing, and I'm not going to lie, it's hard. And you have to be in that place where you are ready to accept your own faults, because it's no more of you did this to me. It's more of victim. You have to be willing to accept and realize that there's a lot of stuff internally with you that you've held on to or you've done, and you have to, and so it is hard. And I understand where people are like, I'm not ready to face that, but I think no one's going to change until they face that.
Exactly. And I always say, like, the moment that you put that down payment on the retreat is the moment that universe says, oh, she's ready now. Okay. And things start to happen like instantly.
They really do.
Women say, like, oh my God, you were not kidding. Like, so-and-so said this, and so-and-so started changing, and things started the things start to shift to support what you have chosen, the path that you have chosen.
Correct.
And, and nothing's going to shift unless you make it happen.
Oh, I agree. 1,000%. Yeah. And like we said, it is very hard, but once you've made that decision, you stick with that decision.
Yes. And
something I've also learned, like just whether it be coaching, therapy, whatever, like fitness, nutrition, if you're paying the money to work on that, you tend to do better, and you tend to stick with it, and you tend to actually put forth the effort versus something that's free. Like because people, I'm sure, have told you, I can see that on TikTok. I can see that on YouTube. I can learn breath work on YouTube, but it's not the same.
It's not. And one thing that women say when they come to my retreats, and they say it feels like I entered women heaven. Like all these women. And that's one thing I want to talk about is women have this issue with being with other women. Like
it's true.
Like, they ask me, like, how many women are coming? I'm like, because I don't do well around women. And it's like, why is that?
I think women,
that should not be the case.
So I work in a field where, being in nursing, which should be a field where we help everybody, right? But it's a lot of women. It's a women dominated field. it's catty, it's messy. And I think a lot of women think that because I have a lot of friends, and I used to say it. I'd be like, well, I just like to have guy friends. I just like to be, you know, I'm not a girl's girl.
Yeah.
But the older I've gotten and the more I've healed, the more I was like, no, I actually need that camaraderie. I need that around me, because we are actually tearing us down more than anyone in society. Like when you're talking about like aesthetics and you're talking about this, it's not really a lot of the men. Now I'm not saying like the patriarchy hasn't contributed to that, but I'm just saying there's a lot of, like, when I look at a woman, I'll be like, she could do this or she could do that, and then I'm thinking in my head, why did I think that? Why was my first thought she could do this about herself?
Yes. It's so sad.
It is.
It is. And when women come to my retreats, they're like, women bond. Well, I'm very protective about the space I create, first of all. And each woman is vetted in, basically. I don't just let you in my retreat. Like, we have a conversation, and I prepare you, like, okay, do you know what you're getting into? You know, why do you want to do this? Because I want to make sure that all the women that come to retreat are there to do the work.
Right.
And are there to hold a space, not only for themselves, but for all the other women there too.
Right.
And that's what creates this beautiful space that women enter, and they're like immediate friends, like, and they feel safe and they feel accepted and not judged. And that's why they say it's like women heaven, you know, like soul camp. I just want to go back to soul camp because it just feels so good in my soul to be in that space.
Yeah. But since we're talking about your retreats, because those are very interesting to me, how you pick a lot of different locations.
Yes.
So I want you to list your locations. I want you to tell me how you came up with these. Because in my mind, I'm thinking you're doing this for a spiritual journey. So why are these specific places so spiritual and healing versus other places?
Yes.
Tell me all the things about the retreat.
Yeah, and that's a great question, because I get approached by many places because they know that I do retreats. They're like, hey, here's my place, come here, right? And for me, it has to have something really special. So the place I'm going to in Mexico for January, the end of January, is a place that I went to, Sayulita, Mexico, which is not Tulum, it's not Cancun, it's not that crazy, touristy. But it's still, it has this soul about it. It's this beautiful little town. But I did a retreat there with one of my mentors, and I fell in love with the space. So that's why I picked that place.
Okay.
And then I have Spain. And the place in Spain is a friend of a friend owns it. And I connected with her right away. I love Spain. I used to live there. My grandmother's from Spain. I mean, there's so much connection
it's like
there.
Home.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm from the island of Puerto Rico. And the woman that owns this place, this retreat center in Barcelona in Spain, is from Puerto Rico too.
Wow.
So there's like that connection, and we have that mutual friend that connected us. And then I have the place in Puerto Rico, and that one, Finca Victoria, is such a beautiful place. That retreat is in June, and I go back there every year, and it's like, when you land there, when you get there, you truly land there, and you feel so cocooned.
I've always wanted to go there. It looks so beautiful.
It is. It's amazing. So, but that's why I love that place. And then we have, I have to think how many. Okay. Then we have Maine in September. And the place that I picked in Maine is owned by a friend of mine, who I met in Boston last year. And she's just a beautiful soul. And this is her home. And her home is now a retreat center. She made it a retreat center. She's moving to Australia.
Oh, wow.
And she didn't want to give it up.
Yeah.
Because she cultivated so much love into the space. And she's redone it and revamped it, and now it's a retreat center with glamping tents outside and a grotto, and it's like beautiful. Oh, wow. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, every place has a story.
Yeah.
And every place has a special connection. So,
and then the energy is probably just, we were talking, so like everyone knows on the podcast, like my energy in my home is not the best right now, but
it's beautiful.
Well,
yeah, we're just releasing
deceiving
that.
Sometimes. But but I get what you're saying, like with energy and stuff like that. Like I didn't really tap into energy until I started working with an energy healer and realizing how powerful it truly was.
Yes.
And like when you walk into a place, like, and you can start to feel that.
Yes.
And people say that all the time. And I think that's why some women will be like, I'm not a girl's girl, because it can be catty and you can feel that. But I feel like I love that you vet your women so that you know it is a safe space for people to go to, and you know everyone's going to walk away being friends at the end of it. So that's also beautiful.
Yeah. And the fact that a lot of, I didn't learn this till later, like I have control over my energy, and I have control over what energy I allow in. And I think that's something that should be taught in school.
No, it should. 1000%.
Right.
Because I used to, and I've said this all the time, I used to be like, I'm just a realistic person. I'm kind of leaning towards the pessimistic side. And then I realized, no, you can actually change your thoughts and you can control them. You can be more positive when you're having those negative thoughts. Switch them, change them. And it takes work. It takes working with someone like you. You know, it's not easy, especially when you've done it for 37 years.
But also being careful of spiritual bypassing. So also understanding, like, it's not all love and light all the time, you know, rainbows and unicorns. And it's not just replacing the thought with a positive thought, but also going into why do I keep having these thoughts? And what do I need to shift in my life in order for this to not reoccur? And that's where my work comes in. So,
Now, alongside the retreats, do you offer like one-on-one coaching?
I do.
Okay. So what is your one-on-one coaching like? Is there like packages, or do you like recommend, like, someone's not like, would you be okay if someone's like, I just want to do one session? Or would you be like, that's not really going to work? But
no, I only do packages.
Okay.
I do a power month, what I call a power month. We do have a clarity call. That's totally, you know, you don't have to pay for that. And it's very quick, 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, I can decide.
It's like a vibe check.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
are you ready? Are you ready?
Are we a good fit?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and we do have that. We do have a clarity call. And then from there we start, because it's not just in one call. It's not going to happen like that quick. You know, it's same thing with going onto a retreat. You just don't go to a retreat and you're fixed. Like, it's going to be fine. And also in a retreat, you know, I always say the woman that arrives on the first day is not the same one that leaves on the last day. But also, retreat begins the day you leave retreat.
Okay.
Because you're going to be put to test. Like,
well, so explain your retreat a little bit. Like, how long are they? Like, what are you doing there? Like, are you literally like therapy sun up to sundown?
No. We do have a lot of fun too. There's a lot of balance.
Because what is that other one? I was trying to think, is it Wim Hof?
Oh yeah. That's all the cold plunging and the breath work and cold plunging.
There's another retreat. There's someone that does like some kind of, a lot of celebrities go to it because it's really, really expensive. And I cannot think of his name. Like,
I don't know.
I'll think of it probably. Yeah, it'll come to me later. But like, I was like, I wonder, his is a week long. And it's like $5,000-$10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're pricey, you know?
Yeah. But he basically says like, no cell phones the entire time. Like, there's like a lot of strict rules.
Yeah. So I don't have, you know, no cell phone rule. I do have a silence rule in the mornings, and women at first are like, what? I can't say anything. No, not till 10 a.m.
Seriously?
Like, yeah, really.
Because I'm like, I get up in the morning, I'm like, hey, what's up?
No, but you know what? It's at the end of the retreat, women are like, oh my God, that was the best, you know, silence I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah.
Because we're not used to it.
Right.
And our bodies are like, yes, this feels so good. I mean, you can acknowledge each other, you know, I mean, but yeah, sitting at a table and not saying a word and just eating your food slowly, you know, and then there's like writing prompts that you're working on, and you have that time to really process things.
Yeah, that's hard.
It's so special. No, but it's so special.
It is, and it's hard.
It is hard.
And you don't realize the little things like that, just taking out the silence.
Yeah.
Like that. We could do that daily here, but but it's not required, so we don't. Yeah. But like even just the littlest things you don't realize are healing.
Exactly. exactly. But the whole process of retreat is I have a process, I have a system, and the first day is releasing, the second day is nourishment, the third day is activation, and the fourth day is integration. So you're basically, we have to get into the core of all the things and release first before we start to try to integrate or manifest anything that you want in your life. But I always say, like, I have a disclosure, like, hey, when you go home, you're about to piss a lot of people off, because the woman that will come back will be a much stronger woman. Mm-hmm. She will have boundaries, and she's not going to put up with it anymore. Right.
I agree.
And so, be ready.
Yeah.
And that's why I say retreat starts on that day.
Right.
Because you're going to have to put everything you learned to practice
in the real life, without, like, not saying that you're not there to support, but like without someone like guiding you. And that's something I struggled with. And I know I can't relate to your retreats, which I'm definitely going to go on one. Like, I really wanted to go in January, but like I said, my friend's birthday is the weekend you're doing yours. But I am going to go to one because like I said, like, I'm 1000% into this journey. And like when I worked with my energy healing life coach last year, it was like really eye-opening. Like when I came out, how much I like started noticing things and started like noticing mostly my behavior. And I was just like, oh, I'm the problem. Like, and it's not that I didn't notice it before, but like, and then I would be down on myself. And I don't know if you experienced this with some of your clients, because I would take a couple steps back and I would revert back to my old behaviors. But she would have to remind me, like, you went 2 steps back, but you're still 3 steps ahead. So you're going to do that. And I don't know if you experience that with your clients or.
Yeah. Okay. I say, like, you can't unknow what you know now.
Right.
Like, once you come to retreat, you're going to learn so much. And I just had a retreat in Puerto Rico, and one of the ladies was like, we have covered so much in just 3 days, and I still have 2 days to go. And I can't believe, like, I've gotten to the core of so much. And yeah, I mean, you can, once you know. Right. And you're going to go into spaces and circles of friends that you thought were friends, and you're going to be able to sniff it out right away. You're going to be like, okay, this is not in alignment with me anymore, with the woman that I want to be. And that's when I say you're going to piss people off, and it's going to be up to you to set those strong boundaries and set new standards for you to walk away. Because the moment that you do that, you're creating the space for the good people, to come in.
You're right. And that's something huge that I didn't realize is like, I think the example was given to me, like, if you want a new car, you got to move your old car out of the garage, because how is something new going to be parked in there if there's no space for it? Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, but it's so, like, it's hard letting go of old things, but like, especially when it's your personality or things like that. But I think that's beautiful. And I would love to know what your thoughts are. Like, I'm not knocking therapy at all. I've been in therapy for years, but the biggest thing for me was life coaching, energy healing, like that. It, like you said, it got to the root quick, and it started healing things that I didn't realize I had issues with. Yeah. So what is your thought process, or what you've seen in your clients that have possibly been to therapy for years versus doing your type of coaching, training, energy healing? Yeah,
well, I started with me. I was in therapy for many years, and I was taught, the issues lie in my tissues by one of my mentors. She always said that your issues lie in your tissues, and until you feel into them, they're going to stay trapped in you. And that's how I fell in love with breathwork, and that's how I fell in love with feeling into my feelings, really feeling what that little girl went through years ago, and sitting with her and asking her, well, what is it that you wanted to scream? What was it that you wanted to, like, not do? And nobody told you that what made you so mad? Right. But that didn't happen until I had a life coach, and that didn't happen until I did breath work.
Right.
That did not happen when I had therapy. I talked about it, but I didn't get to feel and go there and release her from all the pain. I didn't get to do that. So I feel that is the journey that I try to help women release whatever is stagnant
Like that trauma.
Yeah.
Because we all have it.
We
all, like, not saying that's any diss to anybody's parents, to anybody, but like we all
have it.
We all
were born in trauma. We were born screaming.
When I was about to say, well, what about generational trauma? Like, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? Like, do you, like, I know people say, like, your grandparents, if they didn't heal from this, it's passed to your parents, then it's passed to you. Like, do you believe in that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, it's the mother, a lot of it is the mother lineage, of course, basically whatever you see your mother go through affects you, right? Even in the womb. I mean, she's carrying you, right? I mean, that's energy.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw this meme the other day, and it will probably resonate with you. And I was just blown away by it. It said, oh gosh, I'm going to mess it up. But it said basically like people believe in Wi-Fi, where it's this thing you can't see and all these connections going from room to room, from state to state, from, whatever. But people don't believe in energy that they can't see.
Wow.
I was just like, oh wow, that's a good,
that's a good example.
Right. And I was just like, never thought about it like that. But like, we believe in Wi-Fi. Why is my Wi-Fi not connecting? Why is it not, why is it not doing this? But we don't think about this person in this room who's got this bad energy. Why is that affecting me? We're not thinking about that.
And I say, I always tell women, like, I want people to feel you before they see you. I want your energy to be so alive and lit up, like you're parking your car and people are inside the house going, I think she's arrived. Right?
I love that though.
Like you should expand your energy so much and know that you're worthy of lighting up the world, and don't play small anymore.
Right.
Like, so many women are playing small. And because they don't, I talked about this the other day with my girlfriend. It's like so many women start a conversation with, I'm sorry, but why did you start with, I'm sorry?
I do that all the time.
In the first place. You don't need to be sorry for anything. For speaking your truth. You don't need to be sorry for that. So it just makes me like, oh, I just want to shake you.
Oh, I got grounded as a child for apologizing too much.
Yeah. And some women need to be told to stop apologizing.
I'm like, I would do something. I go, I'm sorry. And my mom said, if you say you're sorry one more time, you're not allowed to talk on the phone tonight.
We've been programmed to be ashamed from the get-go. Right. And we need to stop.
No, 1000%. And I do think that this like women empowerment movement has been wonderful. I do think it's taking a little bit of a backslide in 2024, a little bit. Hopefully that will improve, but I love the work that you're doing. And I want to talk a little bit more about the stuff that you offer, because you do have a workshop coming up.
Yes, I do.
Let's talk about your workshop coming up.
Did we talk about the midwifery? Did we talk about that?
No, we did. We talked about it a little at the beginning, and I said we were going to talk, like, clear that up a little bit, because I was confused.
I want to clear that up.
Yeah, let's clear that up.
Because I'm not a midwife. But I am I'm a soulful midwife. And that's why my mentor was like, you are kind of a midwife, because women are reborn with you.
And that's very true.
Like a new version comes out. And so I just wanted to put that on.
Yeah, sorry, that's my fault, because I said we would get back to it. But you have a workshop coming up.
I do.
Let's talk about your workshop a little bit. What's going to be going on in this workshop? When is it? Who can attend?
Yes, so Huntsville on 1/11 at 1 p.m. I chose all the ones. On the 11th of January, it's going to be at Noella's, the Parisian, right next to Noella's. It's a beautiful space. And it is my vision board workshop, and I'm calling it Breakthrough, because I believe that every woman is on the verge of a breakthrough. Yeah. They just need to get clear on what is getting in the way, because there's a threshold that they want to cross. But I said this morning in a class I was teaching. It's a beautiful quote, and it says that you fear the cave. The cave that you fear holds the treasure that you seek. And
that's beautiful for you. Have you thought about that? Because like you were afraid to give up your corporate job to start this. So like the thing that you were afraid of actually literally leaped you into what you're doing. So,
but all of us have that.
Yeah.
All of us have that cave that we just keep, like, we're scared to go in because it's so dark and it's like so scary and so unknown. But on the other side of that is just this huge expansion. And almost it feels like too much. Right? Yeah. Like once you leap over and you go past the threshold, it's like, oh my God, this is wow, this is so much coming at one time. I don't know if I can handle it. And I always say, like, yes, you can. God doesn't, and God never gives you more than you can handle.
Right.
Right. And that is the moment that you have to say, if I see it, it's because I'm ready for it. Mm-hmm. And give me more.
Yeah.
Give me more and prepare me. Give me more and make me ready.
Yeah.
Because the moment that we say is too much, what are we doing? We're blocking energy.
Yep.
Right. And that's when it stops happening. And we're like, okay, I can't do it. And now when we start to play small again.
Yeah.
So at this workshop, we're going to experience lots of things. You're going to learn about your human design.
Oh, I love human design. Yes. Oh, can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
I love human design. I just recently got into it. I had the app and everything. Learned about it from like Stassi Schroeder and stuff. Yeah. So I'm a generator, I believe. Yeah. Which that was a story in itself, trying to get my time of birth.
All the energy. Oh, I know. Like,
let me tell you, my mom couldn't remember. I didn't have my birth certificate. They lost my birth certificate. I had to request my birth certificate because my mom. So my mom told me a long time ago that I was born at 5 a.m. Okay. So my best friend from high school texted me every single morning at 5 a.m., waking me up with happy birthday. And I remember I found my baby bracelet, like maybe when I was in college, and it said 5 p.m. And I remember texting my friend going, I cannot believe you wasted all these years waking up, texting me at 5 a.m. when my birthday's at 5 p.m. And then, of course, years went by, and I was like, did that conversation happen or did I make it up? And I texted my friend. She was like, I don't remember. And I was like, Mom, was I born at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m.? Because now I'm confused. And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, how do you not remember? You were in labor.
I don't remember when my daughters were born.
She was like, in the wintertime, John, at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. were both dark. So I was like, good point. So I had to request my birth certificate and found out it was 5 p.m. Yeah. It was 5 p.m. So that memory was real about telling my friend she wasted all those years.
Okay.
So yeah, and ended up being a generator, which it was like crazy, like going through everything. I was just like, oh my God, all of this sounds like me.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It's validating.
Yes.
That's why I love the human design. It's validating to our own uniqueness of how we take in energy, how we give energy, how much energy we have, right? Because you're a generator, you have all the energy during the day. Yeah. But your sleep is sacred. You have got to honor your sleep.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny that you say that, because I'm always like, if someone's like, come out, I'm like, no, going to bed. 8 p.m.
No,
bye.
You're like done. You're done because you expended all your energy.
And if I go out with my friends and like, if it's like, if I'm ready, I'm like, bye. They're like,
disappear.
No.
Where'd she go? Oh,
bye.
I need my sleep. But see, I'm a projector and I only have 4 hours of sleep, of productivity in a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my 9 to 5, like when I found out that I was a projector, I was like, okay, how am I going to survive from now on knowing this, that I have to go to work for 9 to 5? So I really like split up my day and I took a lot of breaks.
Well, hey.
A lot. And I blocked myself from other people, like energy wise. But the whole human design is like, it makes you aware of so much.
It does. And like, I always thought I was indecisive, but it basically says, no, you're a yes or a no person. Like people can't ask you maybe questions. They have to say, do you want Chinese? Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you want Mexican? Yes or no? Like, but when someone presents me with 6 options, I'm like, I don't know.
You're like, oh my God, no, I don't know.
But it explained, like, if someone presents the option to you in a yes or no format or a this or that form, like Chinese or Mexican, that's your only options. Oh yeah, this one, like it's easier. Like you have to have that full body yes.
It's a full body yes.
And they're like, if it's not a full body yes, and you're like, maybe it's a no. Say no to it.
Exactly.
And when I started doing that, like whether I'm out clothes shopping or whatever, because I'll be like, I'm like, I'm thinking about it. No.
Yeah, it's like the Marie Kondo. Like, does it bring you joy? Check in with your body. Right. Does it bring you joy? No. Okay, then it's a no.
Bye.
See ya. Peace.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna you're gonna find out about your human design, and also we're gonna go into some life coaching, and to some release work of what you want to let go of that surfaced in the past year, and what you want to allow in. And what are the new, standards that are necessary in order to get this, allow all this goodness into your life and manifestation. And then from there, we're going to create this beautiful vision board after we get clear on all these other things.
Right.
So your vision board is going to be aligned to you. It's not just you cutting out pictures from a magazine and slapping them on a piece of paper. It's actually something that you created with so much intention, so much thought. And women say that have been to my vision board workshops, they say that almost everything has manifested.
Really?
Yeah, because it is such an intentional, session of really coming to, who do I really want to embody in this coming year? Like, what am I really done with? What am I tired of? But we get to the core of many things. And so I'm already excited because I just checked my email and I think we're like a little past halfway sold out already.
How many people do you allow into this workshop? And then I forgot to ask about the retreats, like how many people are allowed into the retreat?
So at Noella's, I'm having 30 women.
Okay.
And then at retreat, it just depends on the space and the retreat center.
Okay.
But in Mexico, we have 14. In Spain, we have 16. And in Puerto Rico, we have a bigger group because it's a bigger space. Mm-hmm. But
what would you say, I guess the question, like if someone's like, I really want to do this, like I'm on the brink of doing it, but I'm nervous about crying in front of someone or sharing a personal story in front of someone. Is it a group therapy or are we one-on-one with you?
It's a group session.
Okay.
And we also do core sessions. So we do core groups. And you don't have to share anything.
Okay. Really. So it's not like we're sitting in a circle going, well, in my childhood.
No. The way that I work at retreat is you share what you feel comfortable sharing.
Okay.
I have mothers and daughters sometimes are like, should we go together? Because we have a lot of work to do. And some of it is like about the other person. My mom. And it's like, no, you can come together and know that when the time comes that you have to work separately, mm-hmm. I'm going to put you in a different group and you're going to be able to do your work and express if you want to. Express whatever you need to express and let it out. You're going to be able to do that. But it's really internal work that you're mm-hmm. going to be doing. You're going to be working with yourself, for yourself. And I always say like, it's an invitation. Everything we do is an invitation. Whether you want to share out loud is up to you.
I was going to say, it's like as much as you want to put into this as possible, which going back to, like I said, when you spend money on yourself and you make that investment, mm-hmm. I feel like you do put more into it than if you were like, hey, come to Mexico for free. No. Am I really going to put as much forth if you're like, hey, this retreat's, $2,500. No, I'm going to put more work into it because I spent that money and I invested in myself.
Exactly.
Which I know we all have issues investing in ourselves, but like I said earlier, like when I finally did that, like that money literally came back to me and it was like the most amazing because I was just like, well, I guess I'm just wasting this money. And then like after all the work, I was like, you know what? And I've told everybody this, I said I would pay it and I would pay it 10 times more just to feel as good as I felt. Like I know it's a continuous work and like just doing 3 months is you're not going to be like, oh, I'm healed, I'm good, I'm never gonna have to do this again.
That's not how it works.
And that's something I always ask someone when they are a coach themselves, like, do you feel like you never have to do work?
No, I am very like I always say like be leery about a person that you go and attend a retreat with and you don't see them doing the work and you don't see them attending retreats, and you don't see them having mentors because that's something that's so necessary. And I have my mentors. I have my retreats that I attend. I've been to 3 retreats this year, just for myself because I did the work, right? Like,
when I think that we all get this misconception that when you're a coach or you do this energy healing, that you have this quote unquote perfection. Like we're looking to you for that. But then when someone sees you mess up, it's like, oh, what? No. Well, it doesn't work. No. Well, that's not life.
No, exactly. And that's one thing that I want women to know, that I'm real, and I can tell you that if you interview any of the ladies that have come to my retreats and they ask, have you seen Maria cry? They'll say yes on day 1.
Oh,
sometimes day 1, sometimes day 2, sometimes every day, because I share from my personal experiences, and those things, I'm very proud of the woman I am today because I did the work. Mm-hmm. And when I think back on who I was, and I get emotional now talking about it, I feel really sad for her. Mm-hmm. I'm not that woman anymore. Mm-hmm. But the thought to me is like so many women are still trapped in that thinking, in that mentality. Mm-hmm. And they're putting masks on. Yes. And they're spending money on extensions and Botox, and they have no problem paying the $2,500 for whatever, is going to cover up whatever's going outside of them. And don't get me wrong, I am vain and I do Botox and I'll do all the things, right? Because I like all those things too. I like to look good, but
no, I know what you're saying.
It should not be so difficult for you to say, oh, hair extensions, or Botox or fillers.
They're making that.
Oh, but this is too expensive because I'm going to a retreat and I can just go on a vacation. Big difference.
I love that you say that though, because one of my very best friends, she struggled with depression, and she has come to me multiple times and been like, I don't like the way I look. I don't like this. If I could just be 20 pounds lighter, if I could just be this, I would feel better. And I finally, not that I don't love her and not that I don't want to help her, but this has been years ongoing. And I was like, I've listened to you as much as I can.
Yes.
I'm here to support you, but I think it's at the point where I can't help you anymore because you're seeking validation from outward sources, whether it be your weight loss, whether it be your Botox, your looks, your filler. I was like, I think it's time you either get professional help, whether that be therapy or coaching. I said, because I can't keep supporting this. No. Not that I don't support you and not that I don't want you to, I don't want it to sound like I'm being insensitive towards her feelings because I love her. But I was like, it's past, like at this point, it's a choice. Yeah. I said, because you're aware of it and it's been like 5 years and you have to make the choice to choose you and you're not.
Yeah.
And like, once I said that to her though, she was like, you're right. I do. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Nothing else is helping me. I've tried to do the extensions. I've tried to do these things and nothing is making me feel better. And I said, because you keep saying that, you keep saying, once I lose 20 pounds, I'll feel better. Once I have long hair, I'll feel better. Once I, get the Botox, the fillers, and none of it's worked because it's not any of those things. It's internal.
She has to learn to love herself.
And I said, look, I know it's going to be hard. I said, there's trauma that you're not wanting to face. Like it's clearly that you're running from it and you're avoiding it.
Yes.
And that was something I was doing. Like my confidence, like in this year alone, like it's not that I'm like, oh my God, I'm so beautiful, whatever. I used to beat myself up and I wouldn't go out with my friends and I would be like, oh, I look too fat in that, or I don't like the way my face looks in that. I'm not posting that picture. But since doing that life coaching, I've been like, who cares? Life is so short. Post the picture, do whatever. Like we all look back, like we all do it. Look back a year ago and go, man, I look good. What was I thinking?
I know.
Like, so I know what you're saying. It's that investment in yourself. And it's such a hard, and I think especially for women, right? Like investing in yourself, like we'll go spend money on Botox and stuff, but then we feel that regret or that guilt. But then when it comes to like mental health, for whatever reason, it's even 10 times that guilt to do that. Yeah. And I don't know what that disconnect is.
I don't either. And the thing that I come to time and time again is like, it's women are scared to go there because they're scared of what they're going to find. And the thing that they're going to find is the thing that's going to liberate them.
I think now that you say that, like once they do that and they realize who they are they going to want the things that they have?
And that's
whether
the
that
thing,
be a husband, a boyfriend, do they want that
make
anymore?
A lot of people mad, and they're going to have to make a lot of changes that require a lot of work.
That makes sense,
and that's scary.
It is scary.
But the women that I have seen do it are so happy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And life is too short.
It is. What inspired you? Like, I don't know if you work with men too, or if you just specifically work with women, but like what inspired, like, cause I didn't mean for this podcast to come out just about women, but it has, because I have a lot of entrepreneur women friends. Yeah. And so I don't want people to be like, oh, she's like, I'm not. It's just that I think that women need a voice. And I think that women have these personal stories that just need to be heard.
Well, it's funny you asked that, because this year will be the first year that I start working with men.
Really?
In breathwork circles.
Okay.
Yeah. And I started to dab into it last year a little bit. But this year we're going all in, and I'm actually connecting with a local gym that is about to open. And I want to work with vets. I really do.
So I work with vets. You should give me your card.
I will.
Yeah, like that's my daily job.
Oh, obviously, amazing. But so I'll be doing some breath work to help with PTSD and
that's amazing.
Anxiety, all the things. So, but it's going to be co-ed.
Okay.
So men and women, because I after all these years of doing retreats, like, women are like, you need to have a couples retreat, because I want my husband to experience this, or, you need to have a men's circle because I want him to experience this. And now this will be a great opportunity for women to do that, to come together with their partner and do the work together.
So until this year, you've only worked with women?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for this year to launch it.
Now, are you going to do like they've requested? Like, are you going to start doing like the couples retreats and stuff?
I'm thinking about doing that in 26.
Because I think that that would help marriages and maybe if you're not married, but like a couple, like that could help tremendously.
Yeah. So maybe 2025, 2026.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. Seriously.
So you initially started those specifically women. What drove you to just working with women alone initially?
I feel that energy is really different when you are in a space where you want to share something deep. I did have my first retreat was men and women. And after that, I had a retreat just for women. And I noticed a big difference in the energy and in the sharing and the healing that happened too, the connection. There was such a bigger connection there. So I just stuck with women. For me, I think I'm really passionate about helping women know their worth.
Yeah.
And because of my own life journey,
right.
I don't want any women to suffer the way I was suffering.
Yeah.
I'm 53.
You're 53?
I am.
You do not look 53.
I'm a grandmother of 5. I have 2 daughters.
You look like you're 42.
Thank you. Oh, somebody told me I was 42 today. You're the second person.
Like, oh my God, like you seriously?
Yes.
God, sometimes I say this on every single podcast and it's going to come one day. I'm like, this is why I wish I had a visual podcast, because people would I like to see people's reaction. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So I'm that old. I lived life, and I just, I feel like the grandmother in me comes out also at retreat. It really does. A lot of my girls, my ladies, I call my ladies, my girls, they call me Mama Maria. Because that grandmother energy in me comes out. And I just want women to know that they need to be heard.
Yeah.
And they need to be loved how they want to be loved. And there's a way.
I would say I can feel that energy with you, how you just exude this. It just feels very loving, being in your presence. I can feel that you're just I want that so bad. And because I always try to relate to someone's energy or experience, the only thing, going back to what I said earlier, when someone starts talking to me about their thyroid or it just comes up, I'll just get so passionate about it. And I'll just be like, oh my God. And people will be like, thank you. You just know what you're talking about. And I'm just you can see I'm all in, your doctor doesn't know what they're talking about. Yeah. Do this, get these labs.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm very passionate about that.
And you also have another thing that we haven't talked about that I don't know if it's recent, but it was something I was supposed to do last week and I didn't get to do it because of the house.
What?
The reset experience.
Oh, yes.
Is that new?
Yes. So that is new. Thank you for reminding me of that. So yeah, in me going into doing more one-on-one work, I'm going to be doing one-on-one work in person. And so I do at-home calls, basically, where I come to your house and I do a whole nervous system reset on you. So we do the breath work, we do the sound healing, we do We do a little bit of life coaching as well. I check in with you, see how you're doing, what we can work on. And and then I do some energy clearing as well. So yeah. And women that have experienced it are like, what just happened? Like, this was amazing. And you know, it's moving from a place of chaos, because we're multitasking. We're constantly our hands are on some kind of electronic device. We have not given ourselves time to take I call it the sacred pause, you know, like just pause, you know, like I was telling you, like just be in silence. Yeah. You know, that's so foreign.
It is, because going back to just the silence, like there's sometimes like I'll even know it, but I'm recognizing it now. Like, I think I did a podcast a couple of months ago where I was like, I'm just feeling blah. And I realized I was like cleaning more, watching TV. I was trying to find projects. And then I realized I was like, Jonna, you're literally trying to avoid feeling your feelings. Sit down.
Yeah. The cleaning the house. It's like, my husband sees me cleaning. He's like, oh boy, something's coming. A shift is coming. Like, that's how we, like, it feels good because we're in motion, right? But right after that, there's like this moment of like something shifting, and we're making space for it. That's why we clean.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, we're cleaning because we're making space.
Well, I do it like 3 times a week, so what am I making space for?
It's like our body knows, right? Like something's coming, and it's like women, they say that they start nesting when they're pregnant,
I was about to say
right?
That.
Yeah. It's amazing how our bodies start to get us ready.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I also use the headsets in the reset.
Like the
the sound.
I was like, what am I trying to think of?
The silent sound system that I use with the headsets. I use that in the session. So my voice and the music and the nature sounds are all in your ear. I'm guiding you through the whole thing. And it's just you feel really good at the end. I mean, you feel
I bet. I really wanted to do it. I'm still going to rebook.
Good.
Because I wanted to do that before this podcast so I could share my experience, but we'll have to do a part. We'll have to do a part 2.
Absolutely. Yes.
Now, what would you say if someone, you know, hypothetically, wanted to love yoga and meditation, but they don't?
Okay.
Like, I want to love it. We're talking about me. If anybody didn't catch that. Yeah. I want to love it. I lift weights. I do that kind of thing. I'm a go person. So to try to get myself to be still with yoga and meditation literally is the bane of my existence.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that you haven't done yoga with me. Maybe after you do it with me, you'll like it.
Yeah.
I've had people say, I've never loved yoga until I did it with you. But I always say that meditation, we have this like conception of meditation needs to be this way, and you have to be sitting and you have to be still. Meditation can be many different ways. You know, you can have a moving meditation. You can be walking outside and make that a meditation. You can be driving in your car and put some really soothing music on. Okay. And you can be looking out and purposefully looking at the trees as you're driving, being present. That's a present meditation. Okay. Being present instead of listening to music or being on the phone while you're driving, which you should not do, right? But I always say, like, there's different ways to meditate, and it doesn't have to be this way.
Okay. Right? Because you, in your mind, you think you're supposed to like sit down, close your mind off. And I'm like, I can't.
You don't have to close your eyes to meditate. It's bringing your body from one state to another.
All right.
Literally.
I love that definition
better.
That's
what meditation is, right? Yeah. And even if you're lifting weights, like I have people who do that, and they're like, I mean, that's my meditation. Mm-hmm. Then choose music that's going to get you to a state of not being in thought and being in presence.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we can be lifting weights and we can be thinking about all the things that we got to do, right? But if we're lifting weights and we're actually thinking of pausing and breathing and being with this part of my muscle right now that I'm working in my body, being completely present in my body, there's a difference, right? You just entered meditation.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I've recently started doing audiobooks. I've always been able to listen to podcasts and do that, but I'm in a book club with my friends, and I was always like, I never have time to read because I'm always doing all these things. And they were just listen to it. I was like, I can't because my mind is everywhere. But then when I went to the gym, I was like, I'm going to try it. And that was the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do. And I wonder if that is a slight meditation because then I had to focus on the book.
Yeah.
And I literally had to listen. Otherwise, I would have no idea what was going on in the book.
Yeah. That's you being completely present, right?
Yeah, because I literally had to truly focus on it. Because if my mind started wandering while I was listening to that book, like my mind can wander while I'm listening to a podcast and it doesn't matter. Yeah. But listen, I would be like 5 minutes in, I'd be like, what did they say? And I'd have to rewind it.
Yeah. So that's being in a present state.
Okay, I like that.
And that's what meditation is.
I'm going to bring that up in book club on Saturday. I'm going to say, I'm meditating with these audiobooks.
There you go. There you go. Like, but, you know, in all seriousness, when you come to retreat, you are going to practice meditation and it'll be different. And, you know, I always try to like make everything a little different with my own little special sauce. Because I know how hard it can be. Yeah. I know how hard it is to have a morning practice and get on that mat every morning and move your body and sit down and meditate. I know how hard that is. Nobody really has the time, right, to do it like you do. We make really excuses.
Like I spend 4 hours watching TV at night. Let's be real.
You have the time, you know, but we put it in our heads that we don't have the time. So when I do share it and when I do teach it, I want to teach it in a way that's sustainable. And that you're going to want to do it. Yeah. Right. And so that's why I say my special sauce. Yeah. So, So stay tuned when you come to a retreat. You'll experience that.
I did forget to ask one question about the retreat. So when it comes to like, if I wanted to come by myself, no friends, no family, whatnot. Okay. Like I know you mentioned there's solo rooms and then there's double rooms. So like, let's say I pick a double room. Am I going to be room with someone that I don't know?
Yeah.
Because that's part of the experience, right?
Well, it doesn't have to be. Like, a friend could join you and you could room with her. But if you're coming by yourself and there's only double rooms left, there's a process that I go through to put you with the right person. Okay. Because remember, I talk with every woman, right? Right. So I know who these women are. And I try to place you with someone that you're going to really connect with and who's going to support you as you're going to support her. So, and I have not failed yet.
Yeah. So I bet you haven't because you were very intuitive.
I am.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
What place is your favorite retreat?
Oh.
I mean, I know they're all so wonderful, but if you had to pick a favorite spot.
A favorite spot would be Puerto Rico.
Because it's home?
Yeah.
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 I bet.
I mean, every retreat is special and I try to create the most special experience and every retreat is different.
But for you, when you go I'm there,
home, you just have my friends who some of them are facilitators and I bring them in as special guests and we do special things, right? Like, it just has the specialness to it. And it's my island.
And I know this is completely separate, but like when I drive home to see my friends or whatever, it's just, there's this nostalgic feeling that so for your own personal experience, that's what you're probably feeling.
I'm bringing people home. I'm bringing people to my home.
This is my home. Look. Yeah. So that would be very special. And I want them to have the best experience and I want them to be like, wow.
And, I've had women that have come to retreat in Puerto Rico and have come to retreat every year after that. To Puerto Rico. Because they love it so much.
I bet. That is one place I do definitely. It's on a bucket list of mine that I want to go because it just any pictures that I see or anything, even like the pictures it's just so beautiful. Yeah. So I want to go so bad.
There you go.
That may be the one I have to come to then. Because I also want to go to Mexico. You should know I haven't traveled a lot. Like I've only been out of the country one time.
My God.
One time I didn't even get on a plane until I think I was 25 or 26.
Oh no, we gotta fix that.
Yeah, so my place that I went to was Iceland because my friend got married there.
Wow.
So yeah, I've not traveled a lot, so
Yeah, we got to get you out, girl. We got to get you
So
out.
I have all these goals and aspirations, but then I'm such a workaholic and I've got to get past that. But going back to yoga teaching for a second,
Yeah.
where do you do like local teachings around town, or do you have your own studio?
I don't have my own studio. I do one-on-one private sessions. But I also have pop-ups.
Okay.
So I just had a pop-up this morning in Florence at a Grit studio there, Grit Fitness. And I do teach at the Orion Amphitheater on stage.
Is that the one that I've seen people do with the headphones on?
Oh,
okay.
With the headsets.
Is it called Light-On?
No.
Okay, that's not that one. Okay.
No, that's not it.
I was like, but it is the ones where I see where people have the headphones on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I brought here to Huntsville. So, yeah. So that's what I do.
My friend went to that, and that was probably one of her favorite ones, I think she said.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah.
So those will start up again in March, April.
Okay.
Yeah, when it starts getting warm again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it got cold quick here in Huntsville.
But I do pop-ups here and there, and I announce them on my Instagram. So
now, is there any goals or anything that you're thinking, long-term goals that you really wish that you want to do that maybe you've toyed around with that you could share with us?
Sure. Well, I'm writing a book.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's pretty much written. And actually, I do have a council of women who I'm actually opening it up, my council. It's called the Glow Council.
I love that.
And these women get to work with me for a full year or 6 months. And so the women that have signed up, they signed up in June, have been working with me since June. They've been getting part of my book every month. And I'm opening it up again for registration right now. So women that want to work with me for 6 months from January to June can join. So I'm sharing my book a little bit here and there. It's a devotional, working on yourself, doing shadow work and just inner connection work. But each month we get together on Zoom, and I do an empowerment talk. We have a theme each month. We do shadow work, we do yoga, we do meditation, we do all the things throughout the month. And we also have a chat space where we connect with each other.
Okay.
And each of us, we're going through our things, but we are in community. So that will be closing on the 6th of January, but that's one thing that I have open right now. So if you're interested, anybody that's interested, they can contact me and we can see if you're a fit for it. But so I'm writing a book.
That's awesome.
And hopefully we'll have it published, this coming year. And then, I want to have my TED Talk.
Yeah.
So that's coming up.
That'll be awesome. Is it going to be more like a podcast style, or is it going to be?
No, me on the stage. Yeah.
Oh, wow. You're going to travel the U.S.?
On the TED Talk.
I don't know if I know what TED.
On the TED stage, TEDx. Yeah, stand. Come on.
Girl, no. I'm not first.
Okay, well, we're going to get you right on that.
But is that where you're going to travel?
No, there's TED conferences in different cities, and they have one in Nashville.
Okay.
They have them all over the U.S. and in Europe.
Are you just going to do the one in Nashville?
But I want to do some. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. I'm putting it out there. It doesn't have to be Nashville.
I was
it can be any
city.
Any city. Yeah.
Every state. Everyone needs to hear you. Everyone does.
That's why I want to write that book and finish it and publish it, because everybody will get me.
Yeah.
Right. So
now I know we've talked about a lot of stuff that you do. Is there anything that we left out that you want to share more on, or?
No.
I feel like we talked about a lot, and I think you do so much, and I think that you're helping so many women, and thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I had planned when you, because y'all, we were supposed to do the reset experience last week in my house, but due to some construction issues in the house right now, I was like, I don't want her freezing.
No.
So we had to cancel that. But my plan was, after that, was to be like, hey,
this is what I experienced. Yeah,
I would love for you to come on my podcast. And but it worked out, because when I had to cancel, you were like, I was just like, hey, you want to call them on the podcast?
It's perfect.
So it worked out anyways.
Yeah.
But pimp yourself out. Where could everyone find you? Sign up for all the things that you do. And then it will also be linked in the show notes, guys. So you can just click on it as well.
Yeah. So they can go to my website, awakenwithmaria.com. And if you want to find out about my retreats, it's awakenwithmaria.com/wellness retreats.
Okay.
And they can find me on Instagram at Awaken with Maria Brito, Brito, like the Brita filter, but Brito. And the same on Facebook. And if you want to email me, it's awakenwithmariabrito@gmail.com, and we can start the conversation and get going. But one thing I do want to add is like, retreat. If retreat is one of your goals to kind of like get away and do that for yourself, make it a non-negotiable and set the date. Just do it.
Right.
Like the Nike, just do it because, it's a $500 deposit, holds your spot, and then we can start a payment plan, or you can pay in full, whatever you decide. There's always a perk when you pay in full. You get a one-on-one coaching session with me. But, the step one is to decide and to take that first step. It's a courageous step. But you can look at all the testimonials and you can see nobody died.
And I can speak from personal experience, not with your retreat, but again, guys, like when you invest in yourself,
yes,
there is no price you can put on that. There's really no price you can put on that.
It's the accelerator.
It is. And the feeling that you leave with it, and then that money, like, it comes back tenfold because you're just the vibrations that you're putting in the universe, the manifestations that you're putting in the universe, like just investing in yourself. Like if I could just make everyone like, and I know I haven't even worked with you and I want to work with you, like even after this conversation, like just doing that alone, like I can't even speak. Like, and again, I'm not knocking therapy. I'm still in therapy. But when I talk about the difference in how fast and how much I healed more with life coaching and modalities that I wasn't learning in cognitive behavioral therapy or talk therapy or whatever you want to call it, it's just night and day.
Yeah, that's why I call it the accelerator. It accelerates you forward.
It definitely does.
And if you want that jump start, you got to jump in and do the thing, right?
You got to. Thank you so much for coming. And guys, again, y'all will be able to click on the links in the show notes to go straight to Maria. And again, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Until next time, guys. Bye.